Welcome to the Building Design Primetime Podcast, focused on providing valuable information for anyone looking to undertake a new build or extension project. We'll share our tips, tricks and stories from a building designer's perspective.
Welcome to the Building Design Primetime Podcast. Once again, we are joined by Frank Geskis, our building design specialist, and I'm your host, Amelia, and we've got another topic to talk about today, which is a little bit different to our usual topics.
We're going to talk about drawings.
Yeah, because it's such a fundamental part of, building design.
Yeah, it is. And it's this beautiful thing, and I say beautiful because I love drawing, always have. Even when I was a little kid, I loved drawing. But it's a combination of written and visual descriptions of a structure to be built. I found that online.
I was going to say, you did a really good job of pulling that out of your backside.
Yeah, I know. I thought I'd find something that sounded really good. But it's so true, because a good set of drawings tells you all the information in the right order. The drawing should flow properly and have the right technical information from compliance with the building code, planning, reference to all the other consultants, and there shouldn't be a lot of questions through the build if it's done properly.
So I assume there would be quite, a strong level of detail that needs to be included in building drawings. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And subject to the complexity of the build too. So if you've got, I'll use the term project homes, and we do lots of those as well, where they're just simple hip roofs. If you don't know what type of roof I'm talking about, listen to one of the podcasts and go on our website to the different types of roofs. But a nice hip roof has a 450 eaves, 2400 ceiling, all standard stuff. It's very common construction. And the documentation is very simple, easy. The builders can do this blindfolded, and it's very cost effective. So then you go to the full custom home, and they could have all sorts of roof, floor differences, windows, and the documentation level is different, because you need to provide drawings and the written information for the builder to build it, but also other consultants to understand the build and understand the detail of the build.
And I mean, that makes sense too, because every single site and every single build is going to be completely different.
That's right.
Regardless of whether it's the same floor plan and the same house design even. Like if you've got a different site, it could be, completely different way of building it.
But even how you drive into it, how you access it, how you come out of the back of the house, where the laundry comes out, where the sun comes up. There's a ton of different things of every different site, So the drawings reflect that. And a lot of people don't, I suppose they take for granted how we position buildings on site, subject to clients' wants and needs. But it is the client's dreams and ideas we translate onto a drawing. That's a lot of fun, and I love that side of it. It's a bit of an art form, drawing.
It is, and I've noticed a lot of the designers here take a lot of pride in their work, in putting together someone's home.
Oh, yeah, of course. And it doesn't matter if it's an amazing design or if it's a very conventional design. There's lots of solutions to be made, to be potential problems at the site or the requirements or something one of the consultants brought up. So that is put on the drawings. And a lot of people don't see that side of it. Having a good set of drawings that tells everything that's required to get compliance, approvals, built, no variations, hand the key over, get occupancy, final completion, done, move in. I reckon that's pretty awesome if you can do that.
It's amazing. And I mean, it's so central to everything that we do. And as you said, it's not just for us, it's for all the other consultants, it's for council, it's, for documentation of that for council.
Yep, and your building surveyors, you've got the permits. So even early on when you're doing concept drawings, really early drawings based off the client's wants, sketches, see how it sits on the site, we organise a surveyor. We've spoken about this, get a feature survey. We've spoken about this. We had Jared on the podcast a little while ago, and we were talking about that, to try and get this photocopy of the site, and then we put the house on there. Then we can give that to the engineer to say, well, how are we going to hold this up? And he goes through his bit. The geotech guys, that's where I need to drill the hole, or the multiple holes they need to test the soil. They can see that. The plumbing guy can see, well, that's where my connection points. That's where I've got to go. The electrical guy, that's my electrical connection. That's where I've got to go to. So all the sub-consultants then rely on even early drawings. Then in the actual build, all the contractors rely on these drawings to get it right from where's the switchboard going, plaster, ceiling heights, windows, ordering the windows. It sounds really basic, but you put it all together and it has to work like a well-oiled machine, plus all the client's wants and dreams that goes in there, from the size shower niche they want in their shower to how high the tiles are going up the wall, type of vanity, what size basin. It's all these details, a combination of specification and drawings, and subject to your selection process, depends how easy you make it, should go smoothly. But it can go pear-shaped really bad too if it's not done properly, as we were just talking in the office just before we came on.
So what happens if it doesn't run smoothly? What are the implications of that?
I'll use this example that we had. We were just talking and we're all smacking our hands on our foreheads. We took over someone else's job. It was a commercial project, and the whole idea was to get a semi-trailer through the back of this building with all the car parking, all the other things there. We ran these things called turning circles, so like how the trucks swing and how they can turn, because trucks have a very different turning circle to a car.
Of course, yep.
And we found it was crashing into the building or crashing into the parked cars.
That could be a bit problematic, I would imagine.
Well, you want to find out on the drawing before you actually build the thing.
That's very true.
So we've taken over a project from someone else, and we thought it was all okay, but someone was doing the due diligence in the office checking, and they called me over and look at this, and we're going, oh, you're kidding me. Now, I'm not having a go at what's happened. I don't understand all the background. There may be other things that I don't know about. So I'm not having a go at the designer. It's your job to double check everything all the way through, and all the designers should be checking, double checking, making sure the client's wants and needs are put on those drawings, or in some cases put into a specification if it's products and things like that. Very important. So it's not just drawing, it's putting it in there and understanding and not missing anything. You can see why it can be like a legal set of documents that goes through an approval process and then forms part of a contract. So these documents become part of a contract for a build. Shit gets pretty real if you get it wrong.
Oh, I can imagine. And it really is a domino effect. You change one little specification on there and that might cause a domino effect with several other areas that have to be either redrawn or...
Yep, and I've seen it, yes. Change done on site but didn't understand why we did this, or change of a window. Yeah, that's a beauty. Change of a window, put a bigger sliding door in, so as well changes your thermal assessment. We have to put a bigger lintel in. Can the floor handle that as well, because the loading of the point loads where the lintel supports came down, and bushfire requirements. So the cost of enlarging that window, because it was toughened glass, the size of the glass got bigger and it got really expensive. But they made a change and it cost thousands. This was a specific job.
Even material choices as well,
Yep.
flooring and that sort of thing.
All that. Yeah, it makes big ramifications. So that's why drawings are really important, and that's why not rushing the process of actually documenting well. So you may not have to choose all your tiles, carpets, door handles, but I do recommend it. Getting it all sorted before you go for building approval so the builder can price exactly what you want. Otherwise, it's, they're going to just have an allowance in the contract. So drawings are really important to get right at the start. And if you have a seed of doubt or you have a change of idea, you need to have that on the drawings, not at building stage. So drawings are really, really important, and also a thing called document control. So if there's a change, the drawings are what we call a revised. There's a revision. It's clearly on the drawing what the change is, so you can tell the difference between one set to another set.
And I guess it's important, if you are going through changes, that it's done at the preliminary stage, not at the end. It makes it a bit easier, is that right?
Oh, 100%. Prior to going for planning approval, because you might make a change and you might have to go through planning approval again.
And so that's more time and more cost.
Oh, well, in Tasmania, you've got 42 days minimum to take that through if it's a discretionary application. And if you're in the middle of a build, that's a horror show. It just ruins everything, timing.
Yeah,
so that's why when you go to planning, everything should be set in concrete as such. So
was that another bad joke?
No, it's not a joke. It's fair income. It's just a term. Wasn't trying for a bad joke this time, not like last week. Could be a dad joke. So drawings went from hand drawings, and I'm going to show my age here a bit. When I first started in this world...
When I was a boy.
When I was a young adult starting in this industry, I started in the engineering world doing documentation, being a drafty. I had to go on a drawing board, pencils, ink, all that. It's actually something very therapeutic about doing it too. But within about a year, we changed over to going AutoCAD, which was the most predominant piece of drawing software, CAD software out there. It's just 2D, bunch of lines, but it's so customisable. And it's still a very good piece of software, but things have gone a little bit further than that. Now we've got our 3D modelling. So the big ones here in Australia anyway is Autodesk Revit and ArchiCAD. Both fantastic programs. We personally use Revit. We like it. We find it's a good combination of 3D modelling, but also does really, once you've got the template sorted, really great building drawings. Does really good. Does that very well. The other bonus then, it helps you then set up for good 3D perspectives. Just line drawings if you want. But also the Revit lets us do these 3D visualizations, spin arounds, so we can send it to our customer via email. They open it up and they can spin the house model in front of them.
That's so cool.
It is very cool. It's fun. It's like playing a game. You can spin around, pop the roof off, have a look overview and all that type of stuff. And there's a lot of flexibility in it. It's very cool. And the purpose behind that is to understand the spaces. Now, even then, you've got this 3D. Sometimes, for some people, they still struggle to visualise the 3D space. The distances and things like that, because it's on a screen. So it was even harder in the days where we only had 2D. People are looking at 2D drawings and they can't understand the space or turn it from a 2D and visually inside their head turn into a 3D. Obviously, when you work in this game, you get pretty good at it because you're doing it all day, every day. But for the average person, fair enough, they don't do it every day and it's hard for them to visualise. So now going to the 3D modelling, that's a game changer for everyone. And you should be looking for a designer or an architect that can do the 3D modelling. Still got normal 2D drawings, but they can do the modelling, so you can put it on the screen, or can they send you a link and you can spin it around and have a look. So even when we get the survey, we put what we call the topography and we're placing the house on there. So it's all correct. The colours may not be correct, but it's more the shapes and the forms, and that's what you need to judge, is the windows looking right. You can go to the next level, choose all your selections, like what type of cladding, what type of colour, doors, windows, etc., carpet, and we can fill the whole thing full of furniture, and you can go for a walkthrough if you want.
That's pretty cool.
It's cool, but it's a lot of work. A lot of people don't realise it's a lot of work because you're actually putting all this furniture and you're putting all the right textures in, the right tiles, the right doors, the right handles. It goes on and on and on. So it's trying to be true.
But some people, that's what they need in order to visualise it.
Totally agree. But you've got to pay for it, because it's time. And they'll make changes through it. And that's okay too. It's a lot of work to do that. So, and there's some specialists out there that will that's all they do. They don't actually do the design of the house. They'll provide you the 3D visualisation and the walkthrough. That's their living. That's what they do. It's a great service. There's even a cool thing, and I saw it in Melbourne, where they actually project your house plan onto the ground at proper scale.
You'd have to have a big space for that.
It's a big space.
Be like a big warehouse or something.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah, we were there last year at the BDAA conference and on trade night, and they had it there. It was a great idea. So they can actually put it, and obviously if the house is huge, you're going to show portions of it. But you can walk around looking at your room spaces.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's a great idea.
For anyone that doesn't know what the BDAA is, it's the Building Designers Association of Australia.
Yep. And it was really cool. They had the conference last year in Melbourne, and we went and had a trade night at this specific business, and they do these visual projections. I can't remember the name of the business. I wish I prepared for that a little bit earlier, but it was very cool.
That is very cool. A really good sort of point of difference, because not everyone offers services like that.
No. Obviously, when you're wanting to build a house and it's a little bit custom and a bit of interiors, you may have an interior designer, like we have Talia in our team doing interior design. It's the renders that are performed, try and do photorealistic renders with the right tile, the right taps, the right basins, toilets, you name it, in your bathrooms or in your kitchen, setting that up properly, or your lounge room, to depending on the type of furniture. So then you can visually see how it's going to look and look at some of the depths. Like I've got that on the screen there at the moment. There's some other ones that we did for an office in Hobart. They've asked us to do full interiors for this office fit out. So we're looking at meeting rooms, some of the joinery, how the screens work and things like that. And that helps them understand the spaces better. So then how are we going to use it? How are we going to colours? What type of chairs are we going to put there?
And what can actually fit in the space as well. I think that's a big problem, that clients come in regularly and they might say, I want the bedroom to be whatever size, and they pick either some really small size or it's really big. Yeah,
it could be 3.3 or 3.6 for a master bedroom, and they've got a king bed in there and she's a little bit squeezy.
Yeah, and they don't realise that until they actually see it visually.
Well, we pointed out, we used to do it in the 2D because we just know the sizes. No, it's not going to work. Same with like when you've been designing for a while, you know certain spaces that you need as a minimum, like dining rooms, outdoor living areas, bathrooms, hallways. You know, you're looking at the flow through the building. You know, and that experience goes on to the drawings. You know, and that's what I believe customers should expect. But also they should expect a good quality set of drawings.
So what exactly does that mean? What's included in any good quality set of drawings? How do you determine what you're getting?
I have always had my own personal belief on that. And always prided because I love drawing, and all the team that works with us now have followed on that mantra as providing a really good set of drawings. Now, that means nothing to anyone who's listening to this until you actually see it and understand what's there and what's required. In Tasmania, we're pretty fortunate that through BDAA, the Building Design Association of Australia, many years ago, we pushed hard to have, for housing, minimum documentation. So the government actually said, you must provide this minimum level of documentation for approval. I'm not aware of any other state that's done that. Now, the purpose behind that was some people were providing, how do I put it, dog shit drawings. They were terrible in that they didn't have proper levels on them. They weren't sat properly. It caused massive problems on site. The builder couldn't build it for the price. There was massive variation blowouts. There was legal cases. It kept going on and on. Driveways that were stupidly steep. Now they require this minimum level documentation, includes full feature surveys. So you still got mistakes that happen, you know, but at least you got a minimum documentation. You then, the building surveyors or certifiers know exactly what they're getting and what's required to go in that set and to pass it, and they know the notes, the written word for compliance is in there as well. And it's been a game changer here in Tasmania, but also from a pricing point of view, everyone is pricing on a documentation level, which is should be on the same level playing field.
That makes sense. Unless they're offering extras on top of that, of course.
Extras, or how much design effort they're putting in. You know, that might be a massive amount of design effort and working with your customer, you know, and there could be a huge amount of effort in that. You know, going through all these ideas and stuff. That's okay too. But what you provide to go for approval, for building approval and plumbing approval, has to meet the minimum documentation standards. So then you shouldn't have as many problems if it's documented well. So that's been a really good thing in Tasmania, and I'd like to see it happen to the rest of Australia too, because then customers, they don't know what they're getting for a good set of drawings. But we provide on average somewhere, I think it's about 35 A3 drawings. It's a lot of sheets of paper.
That is a lot of sheets of paper.
Yeah,
wow.
And I won't go into all the different bits and pieces, but some of them don't have drawings. Some of them have tables and calculations on there that are required under the National Construction Code. And that's okay, and we provide details for waterproofing because that's what's required in Tasmania. Bushfire notes, very specific bushfire notes, very specific cladding notes, condensation notes. And that's on top of just doing all your basic drawings. The building surveyor then can see all these items have been addressed as per the reports that have been done by consultants. There's a lot to it, and you've seen it yourself in the office, you know, the bunch of drawings that the guys have to produce.
Oh, the level of detail is just insane. So for anyone out there thinking that you know your designer is just sitting there doing a sketch and that's the end of the job, and you know that's what you're paying.
And come up with these sketches.
No, it is so much more involved than that now. You know, as time has progressed, there are more and more regulations that have come in and requirements. So yeah, I was amazed actually when I started working here, the level of detail that the plans actually have.
And it's also going to read well and flow well. I've said that before, but I like to look at how is this thing going to build, and this is how you let the drawings flow through. How's it going to be built? So the engineers need a good set of drawings to work off, because if it's not accurate or correct, they're going to get it wrong. The thermal assessor, our energy guys, we've got Toby coming up, I think, in the future from Torpal. They need to have an accurate set of drawings to be able to do their assessment, because it's hard. Like currently we're on 6-star. The rest, certain parts of Australia are currently on 7-star, and that's a whole nother discussion we'll have with Toby again sometime. So it's all different around the country in different states, so you need to know all that. But this is the thermal performance of your house and the comfort level inside the house. But they need a good set of drawings to be able to do that as well, to do it accurately. That clearly you can find all the insulation, all the window sizes, the overshadowing, what is the floor coverings, how many lights, all this type of stuff for them to do their assessment. So you pay for what you get for. So that's why I think customers should look around and look at what type of drawings you're going to get.
And that should be explained in the quote or fee proposal?
Well, yeah, I believe so. We itemise every drawing we're going to do, other than all the standard building codes ones. We just say building code drawings because that's another 8 or 9 pages that we have to do. But generally, we itemise every sheet that we're doing.
And I've noticed, like, it even goes right down. I've noticed, like, towards some of the back of the end of the pages, that goes into like your plumbing and
all the
connections plumbing. And really quite detailed.
Yeah, and
drawings.
that's what the expectation by the plumbing departments, the building surveyors. Interesting, where we don't get into great levels of detail is electrical, other than we do the layout.
Rough plan. I've seen like a rough plan of like where PowerPoints roughly will go.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's an area that the clients then work with the Sparky in more detail. You've got all your basic lighting, you've got your PowerPoints, switches, common sense placement of switches. But customers sometimes go get lighting designs. Great, no worries. Make sure that's connected with our drawings and it matches. But even like the switchboard, where that goes, you've got to put that in the right spot and a close run to where the connection is to the lot. If it's too long, you're paying more for that. We also encourage, if you're going to put solar panels on your roof, we like to show that on the drawings as well, because funnily enough, they do require a permit. So if you're going to do it, you might as well put it onto your plans now. So then Sparky knows, everyone knows, and the trust guys know because they're putting the extra loading on the roof.
That makes sense. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
It is extra load, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a huge load, but it's just a little bit extra. But in Tasmania, you are required to go through a certain approval process for solar panels. So if you've got a new house or an extension, we put them on there. It's not a big deal. But everyone knows it's there then. Everyone that touches that, every subby that has a bunch of drawings that works on that job knows. They should know anyway if they're given the full set.
So what are the take-home points for anyone not sure about the level of detail in the drawings that they're looking to get done?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a hard one for me to judge and tell people. But in Tasmania, you can go onto the CBOS website, the governing body, and you go onto the director's determinations, and they should provide a standard set of drawings on there. They have everything on there, and that's the level of detail you should expect from someone. Then you know what you're getting. On top of that, they don't talk about it needs to be in 3D or anything like that. But obviously, I would always encourage you to go to someone who can provide you 3D modelling and 3D visualisation if you struggle with that. Some people don't. They know exactly what they want. Bang, happy days. But if you're struggling with it, work with a designer that can provide you that service of visualisation. Makes life a lot easier.
We might wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for listening. That was building drawings. Until next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
You're listening to the Building Design Prime Time podcast.